Coming up on CCX News, graduation day for construction students training to build the newest light rail lines in the Twin Cities. Plus, a look at the volunteers who help keep nonprofits, schools, and hospitals running.
You come in and you play, and you do hope that it'll bring some cheer and some joy.
But first, a proposal to restrict the sale of certain tobacco products. CCX News starts right now. Stories in a moment, but we start with an arrest in connection with a murder in Robbinsdale earlier this month.
Authorities say 29-year-old Jody Fry of Chicago was shot multiple times and found dead in a vehicle. He was in town for a Father's Day event. It happened in the 5600 block of 42nd Avenue back on June 19th. And today, U.S. Marshals and the Hennepin County Violent Offender Task Force arrested a 32-year-old man who will face second-degree murder charges. Police say thanks to a witness, they knew who they were looking for. It was just a matter of finding him.
Meantime, Robbinsdale could become the next city to put in new restrictions on tobacco. As
Delane Cleveland reports, some Robbinsdale residents are gaining support for proposals aimed at making tobacco less accessible to youth.
Step into any store that sells tobacco, and you'll find everything from cigarettes to chew to cigars. Robbinsdale smoke shop cashier Raid Azim says business is booming.
We're doing really good. A lot of people like it around here, and they start to come more and more.
But in addition to the traditional products, you're bound to find tobacco flavored with things like blueberry, grape, and honey that will appeal to nearly anyone's taste buds.
Unfortunately, most of young people like flavors
with tobacco.
It's a fact not lost on longtime resident Kate Richardson.
They're really tempted, with these candy flavors, cotton candy, grape, chocolate, all sorts of things. They really market it to look like candy as well.
She is now leading an effort to restrict the exposure of flavored tobacco products to young people in Robbinsdale.
It needs to not be in their face so much, and it needs to be less attainable price points too.
Richardson has started a group called Robbinsdale Residents for Tobacco-Free Youth. They're proposing 4 changes to the city's ordinance, setting the minimum price of cigars to $2.60, restricting the sale of candy-flavored tobacco to adult-only shops, restricting the display and sale of drug and tobacco paraphernalia to adult-only shops, and raising the legal tobacco sales age from 18 to 21, which follows the lead of Edina and, in a few weeks, St. Louis Park.
We have the evidence to show that when you do change certain things, that the youth use does decline dramatically.
Whether they accomplish their goals remains to be seen, but the employees at the smoke shop say they wouldn't mind an age restriction.
18 is still too young to able to smoke cigarette, and I really wish if they can extend it to the 21.
In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Next Wednesday, the Robbinsdale City Council will discuss whether to enact the minimum price on cigars to mirror restrictions in surrounding cities.
Light rail is still in the planning stages, but some students are ready to help build it.
As Sonia Goins reports, 16 graduated from a construction apprentice program today at North Hennepin Community College.
Welcome to the LRT Build graduation ceremony.
Family and friends packed the Grand Hall to celebrate students who completed the 10-week LRT Build program.
I'm actually stoked.
No one was more excited than graduate Simona Drink.
I'm here and I'm ecstatic. I'm ready.
The only female in the apprentice prep training curriculum, Simona held her own against her male counterparts, learning the ins and outs of the construction industry.
I can drive a machine if I wanted to, a power tool if I wanted to, sweep the floor, dig a trench.
Simona had to bulldoze her way through some life hurdles.
I was homeless for 4 years. We just kept hitting rock bottom.
Before getting to this point.
Nobody would help us, so we helped ourselves.
Now Simona is back on track.
I've got a couple phone calls, and I actually have to do a little bit more research to actually pick and choose who I actually want to go with.
She and her fellow graduates have the opportunity to work on the Southwest and Blue Line light rail projects.
My handprint's going to be on that. It's something to be proud of, because you're coming to town and someone's new, just visiting. All I can say is, I've done that. I built that.
Just to know that I can sit there and put my part into it makes me happy.
And although the light rail project still has some funding hurdles to overcome,
Thank you.
these graduates look forward to leaving their mark on the projects.
I can show my kids, hey, Daddy did that, you can do it too.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Travel this weekend is expected to break records for the 4th of July. And if you're driving in Minnesota, MnDOT is reminding you to take it easy in those work zones. Some of those are close to home, including the I-94 project between Brooklyn Center and Minneapolis. Many will have crews working Saturday and Monday. Already, the State Patrol says it has handed out nearly 70 tickets to drivers speeding in the I-94 work zone.
When it comes to fireworks over the holiday, not everyone welcomes the noise that comes along with that. Local police ask residents to keep that in mind.
Be respectful. This year the 4th of July is going to be on a Tuesday, which means that that's the next day is a work day for most people. So your neighbors, they're going to have kids that are probably sleeping. They have pets, that dogs especially get very scared of the fireworks. Those are causes of a lot of complaints and a lot of 911 calls that we get.
Last year, calls on July 4th complaining about fireworks totaled more than 40 in Brooklyn Center alone. Police prioritize and respond to calls as needed, but they aren't the only ones busy on that holiday.
Usually with the 4th of July, we see a lot of animals that can get scared, get in accidents, get into things that they shouldn't have. We usually say about 50% of our emergency cases actually increase. So there's actually about an increase of 50% of emergencies we see just around the 4th of July holiday.
Blue Pearl Veterinary Partners say talk to your vet about possible medication or special care if you're concerned about your pet's reaction to fireworks.
A Crystal lawmaker says he was against going to court over Governor Dayton's veto of legislature funding. DFL Representative Lyndon Carlson said he argued for third-party mediation instead. Carlson was at a town hall meeting Thursday night in Crystal with Representative Mike Freiberg. Carlson believes the court will likely kick the issue back to the legislature, and he thinks resolution is possible before October.
I think the potential is there if you have a willingness on the part of the legislature and the governor to finally meet. They really haven't done that in a meaningful way since the session, and try to create a situation where both can walk away from the table with a win-win.
Both sides recently agreed to 90 days of temporary funding for legislative staff. Coming up, a look at the volunteers helping to keep schools, nonprofits, and hospitals running.
Plus, a local volleyball team has high hopes for success at a big weekend tournament.
But first, stormy tonight, then warming up. We'll be right back. At North Memorial Hospital, as many as 700 volunteers help patients and staff get the job done.
It is unpaid work, but it's fulfilling and sometimes emotional work.
Hello there.
Hi.
My name is Tom.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
I'm a volunteer here at North Memorial.
With guitar in hand, volunteer Tom Hips goes room to room offering songs and comfort.
And it makes the fiery ring.
You come in and you play, and you do hope that it'll bring some cheer and some joy, and if nothing else, give them something to do for 10 or 15 minutes to take their minds off their problems.
Hips is a professional musician who volunteers in music therapy. He says it's a way to give something back.
That's always great when they enjoy it and they laugh and sing along and have a good time, but I understand there is a balance there. It's not always going to be happy and cheerful, but either way it's important.
Volunteer Services is one of the largest departments at North Memorial. There are 500 to 700 volunteers here at any given time, doing everything from delivering flowers to helping people find their way around.
I feel like I'm doing something to help people, and I sense that I'm very much appreciated around here.
When Michael Serafine retired, he didn't want to just sit around the house. Now he works one day a week as a discharge volunteer.
You have a good day.
Which means he helps deliver patients' mail in the hospital and deliver them to their ride when they go home.
I enjoy visiting with people and chatting with folks, and making them feel comfortable. And you know, there's a pride that goes with that when they leave the hospital knowing that they've been treated as well and professional with respect and dignity as possible.
The discharge group works with about 80 patients a day. Volunteers include students, retirees, and even past patients.
Mostly they just really care about what's going on here.
Patty All manages all those volunteers who help take the load off staff members and bring extra attention to patients.
They're all different kinds of people, and the reasons why they come here are all different as well, but they're all just really passionate about being a part of something bigger, and volunteering gives you that give back that you don't expect.
I'm gonna meet.
Tom Hipp says it can be emotional for the patients, their family, and for him.
When I leave here, I might be in tears or I might be walking on cloud 9. But I always feel very, very blessed to have been here.
Cool, man.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
And that story is part of a weekend special here on CCX News. Join us for Volunteers Making a Difference starting on Saturday. Well, coming up later, we'll go slacklining in our weekend showcase.
But first, a volleyball team loaded with standouts from the Northwest Metro gets set for play at a big weekend tournament. We'll be right back.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Crossfire Volleyball 16-1s team has been playing together since late November, and its season will culminate in the coming days at the USA Volleyball Nationals in Minneapolis. The team is well represented by girls from our viewing area. Jason Malillo caught up with some of them recently and has this report.
The Crossfire 16-1s is a talent-rich group with a real chance to win its division at the USA Volleyball Nationals.
I think a lot of people have really grown and can play so many different positions, and we can really just like mend really well together.
The thing I like about our team is we have a lot of versatility. We have a lot of weapons from a lot of different places, and I know the girls will bring their best this weekend.
The girls on this team are all top players at their respective high schools, but they say egos are not brought to the court. On the contrary, it's the team's selfless attitude that's made it successful.
I think everyone on our team is super supportive. Like, we all want each other to do well. We don't want to see our teammate do bad so that we get more playing time. We cheer each other on, and we want each other to be successful, and it just pushes us to be better.
Yeah, there's a lot of skill on this team. We're super close to it, which makes the chemistry work really well.
Last week, the 16-1s played at the AAU National Tournament in Florida and finished in second place out of 94 teams. That performance will give the girls a lot of confidence this weekend.
It's nice knowing that we can finish so high. We're not ranked as high, but I'm in this tournament coming up, but I'm sure we can finish high. So yeah, it helps. It definitely helps a lot knowing that can happen.
I think that really just gave us the mentality that we can kind of accomplish anything that we want to do, and maybe even go for the gold.
Tom Fugelstad started Crossfire in 2003 with one team. Today, there are more than 450 girls competing on 30 teams in volleyball and AAU basketball. Fugelstad recently resigned as the head coach at Heritage Christian Academy after 13 seasons and will focus full-time on his work at Crossfire.
Things with Crossfire have kind of taken off and have gotten busier, and I really need to focus my energies and attention to developing and growing this organization, and it takes a toll over time. I've been going since mid-August, and now we're pushing July, and again, I love it. I enjoy coaching. I love the kids, but I think I got to focus on what's really important here at Crossfire right now.
A strong run this weekend would be a nice last act for Fugelstad, and the Crossfire 16-1s certainly had the talent to do it. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
That team will play their first match Saturday afternoon at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Maple Grove and Champlin Park were both qualifiers for the state high school baseball tournament this spring. Their two American Legion teams were matched up Thursday in a North Hennepin League game. Champlin Park takes an early lead. Quinn Victoria drops a single into right field. Trey Carlson scores, and it's 1-0 in the first inning. Same inning with Ian Coltis at the plate. A wild pitch allows Victoria to score. Champlin Park takes a 3-0 lead after 1. Maple Grove gets a run back in the top of the second. A wild pitch brings in Luke Hansen, and it's a 3-1 game. They would score 2 in the third inning to tie it up at 3. Champlin Park retakes the lead in the bottom of the third. Coltis with a grounder to short. Maple Grove gets the out at first, but Max Loven scores, and it's 4-3. It stays that way until the top of the 7th. The pitch here gets a few feet away from the plate. The throw to third sails into left field. Hansen, the runner, comes in to score, and it's tied at 4. And this one goes to extra innings. In the 10th inning, Jensen Erickson slaps a base hit to center. Zach Friedman scores what turns out to be the winning run as Maple Grove wins 5-4 in 10. 4 local American Legion baseball teams are taking part in a 4th of July tournament in Delano. The 13th annual Stars and Stripes Legion Baseball Wood Bat Tournament starts Saturday at noon at the Delano Municipal Stadium. Providence Academy plays Minneapolis Southwest in the first game of pool play. Wayzata meets Egan at 2:30 Saturday, followed at 5 o'clock by Hopkins and Osseo. Host Delano then plays Crete, Nebraska in the final game Saturday. 4 more games are scheduled for Sunday and Monday, followed by 3 games on the 4th with a championship game at 7:30 p.m. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
This weekend, you can try your hand or foot at one of the hottest new activities hitting Minnesota.
In our weekend showcase, Neil Persley gives it a try.
Slacklining became popular here in Minnesota about 5 or 6 years ago is when I started noticing it kind of like taking off, and you see it in a lot of local parks.
To find out what this latest craze was all about, I contacted my friends at Three Rivers Park District.
Really popular with teenagers, but it's fun because it can work for the whole family.
Megan Kelsenberg has been slacklining for about 3 years. She also teaches it for Three Rivers Parks.
Well, the balance is a huge part of it. You've never asked your body to do this before, so when you first stand up, people are surprised at how shaky it is and how shaky your legs feel.
Tell me about it. Megan and Emily were my training wheels.
Nice job.
At least for me, it was a lot harder than it looked. Still, in the few minutes I was practicing, I could tell my body was very, very slowly getting the hang of it. So I think my personal best is somewhere around 5 seconds. Emily has been at it only about a week and is already pretty good.
It's a really strange experience to try to trust your body that much. I don't have the muscle memory really to balance and to really tell my legs to hold all of me in this kind of situation. And so it's a really introspective experience in the sense that you're trying to tell your body to do this entirely new thing.
If you've never tried it before, it's low to the ground, it's not scary, and would make part of a fun afternoon with the family at Coon Rapids Dam Park.
For Coon Rapids Dam, we have a free family program. It's part of our free family fun days, and those happen 2 or 3 times a month. It's drop-in, all ages, doesn't cost any money, and people can just come and give it a try.
For Weekend Showcase from Coon Rapids Dam Park in Brooklyn Park, Neil Persley, CCX News.
That's great. And you can try slacklining for free again this Sunday afternoon in Coon Rapids Dam Park in Brooklyn Park, 1 to 3 o'clock.
And Neil makes you want to get better at that, right? He looks like he wants to get better.
Yeah. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Have a great holiday weekend. We will see you back here next week.